Good morning, children. Today we'll study about the changing role of public sector. Public sector basically means the government sector. So, public sector in India was created to achieve two objectives. For two objectives, the public sector was, or the government company was started in India to spread up the economic growth of the country and to achieve a more equitable distribution of income and wealth among the people. So, economic growth can be speed up, and second, the income and wealth of the country should be equally distributed among the people. The role and the importance of public sector changed with the time. Its role over the period of time can be summarized as follows. The first is development of infrastructure. At the time of independence, India suffered from acute shortage of heavy industries such as engineering, iron and steel, oil refineries, heavy machinery, etc. So after independence, the government faced, or the country faced, the problem of heavy industries, and the big businessmen were not able to invest large sum of money in the big industry because demand was very less. Because of huge investment requirement and long gestation period, private sector was not willing to enter into these areas. Private sector stopped to enter into these areas, and it became the duty of the government to start the public sector enterprise to develop the infrastructure throughout the country. Second is the regional benefit. Earlier, most of the development was limited to few areas like ports and towns. For providing employment to the people and for accelerating the economic development of the backward areas, many industries were set up by the public sector in those areas. So most of the development after independence was limited to the port areas, but to increase the employment throughout the country, for the economic development, many industries were to be set up, many heavy industries the government needed to set up so that the backward people can also get the job, and as a result the public sector entered into the business of running the companies. Third is economies of scale. In certain industries, a huge capital and large base are required to function economically. Such areas were taken up by the public. So many sectors were there like electric power, natural gas and petroleum sectors where large amount of money was required to function economically, and that is why the government or the public sector came into existence to open such type of company and run the companies. Fourth is control on monopoly and restrictive trade policies. These enterprises were also established to provide competition to private sector and to check their monopolies and restrictive trade policies. The public sector was started to give competition to the private sector so that their monopolies can be stopped and their trade can be restricted. Fifth is import substitution. Public enterprise were also encouraged in production of capital equipment which were earlier imported from the other countries. So the government companies or the public companies also started producing the capital equipment which were imported from the foreign countries, and as a result there was no need of importing the goods from the foreign country, and those things were made in our own country. The next topic is about the public sector reforms. In 1991, the government of India introduced the LPG policy, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization policy, to reform the public sector. 4 steps were taken. First, the reduction in number of industries reserved for the public sector. So number of countries which were reserved, industries which were reserved for the public sector was reduced from 17 to 8 and then to 3 only by 2001. So only 3 industries can be operated through the public sectors, but before 17 industries were there which were operated by the public sector. These 3 industries were basically the atomic energy, arms and rail transport. Second, memorandum of understanding. Under this, government lays down the performance target for the public sector and gives greater autonomy to hold the management but held accountable for the specified results. So memorandum of understanding was made under which the government lays down the performance target of the public sector and gives more and more power and autonomy to the management so that they can run the companies properly. Third is disinvestment. Equity shares of the public sector enterprises were sold to private sector and public sector. So most of the equity shares were sold to the private sector so that the private can also interfere in the business. It was expected that this would lead to improve managerial performance and better financial discipline. So why this was done? This investment was done to improve the managerial performance and for better financial discipline. And the last was restructural and revival. All public sector SIC units were referred to the Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. So BIFR was constructed and all public sector SIC units which were not working properly were referred to the BIFR, and this unit reconstructed and which were very sick, those units or those factories were closed. Today only this much. Thank you.